Seth Melendez, WareGeeks Solution, and I have Robbi, my assistant, on the line with us right now. How you doing, Robbi?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Great, actually. We're actually working on this webinar, and we're putting this together for the webinar we'll be doing soon to explain the 360 Protect Data Now service. It's part of our managed service offer, and we're coming together with all the different uh, components that go together with it. And just thought that we create this behind the scenes look of what we're doing, and just so that people can get a better idea of what's coming down the pipe.
I like it. They can see how the magic happens and the stuff that, everything that we're working on to put together to talk about the 360 Protect Data Now program
Yeah,
service that we're offering.
right. And one of the reasons I know it's we wanted to talk about what we can do for the customers. I know there's a lot, and work with a lot of the remote workers, and that's why we're doing a lot of this. And I know you had some questions that you had mentioned prior to us talking. And what's the first question on your mind?
Well, I think one of the ones I always wonder, it's like, how much is something like this going to cost? And like, how do I even know if I need this? I mean, if I'm a business owner, don't I think I'm covered?
Well, this I could give you the standard canned offer, and what we usually tell people is, yes, you need this product. It will make your life better. It will. But the reality is no matter how small of a business you have, we can provide you with a level of protection that works for you. And is it expensive? It's well, we can tell you. I can tell you in two ways. One, it's not expensive depending if you're just going and checking value, or what value it brings to you. And two, is it more expensive than if something goes down?
Right.
So then you weigh that. So there's two ways to look at this. For the general level of protection, or sometimes it's not expensive comparable to what's out there. People are spending $200-300 a year on endpoint protection from Norton's, and that we're not that expensive. But then when you weigh it out, are you if your data disappeared, are you even worth that much?
Well, it's like paying for car insurance. You pay for
Right.
it, hope you don't need it. And I know at one time, one of the clients that you were talking to, you were talking about stop buying downtime and invest in your uptime. And I really thought that was an interesting way that you described to them. And it's pretty much, it kind of equated to me like buying car insurance.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that they're looking. Everybody looks for they're looking for the gotcha. Like, when you go buy a car, everybody's looking for the car salesman. Look, we're not here to sell you stuff that you don't use.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to make sure that you work. I'm not waking up every day and going, please God, have somebody break so that I can make money. You know what I mean? I don't do that. I don't wake up, please, 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 I need 20 customers today to break something, break on them. No, what I want is nothing to break on you, and you're happy. You know what I mean? And that we've provided you value. We've provided you peace of mind. We've allowed you to not think of anything else but whatever it is you do, so that you can do what you do best and not worry about everything else. So, like I said, there's certain costs out there that are specific that you can go purchase,
Mm-hmm.
and yet you have nobody on the other end to help you if something goes wrong. Or you could sit there and look at it as, okay, when I'm down and everything is blown up and I have nothing left to turn on, would I've been willing to at least spend that $300 that from Norton's, would I be willing to spend that much? Yes, you would have. Because to recover all this stuff, or to try to replicate it, it's going to cost you thousands.
Well,
For
and
That's
like
what I'm
you've
talking
said
about.
before too, it's like, when something breaks, you're not going to be in the frame of mind to find the best person to help you get stuff back up and running because
Right.
you're in such a panic mode.
And then I always say, if you pay me now, you pay me later.
Yep.
If you're part of our program, and you're dealing in that service that we offer, then we resolve the problem for you. Something breaks, your machine blows up, another machine comes in, we can restore to this new machine and have your data up and running relatively quickly.
Especially with all the remote workers that we're dealing with right now.
Right, and stuff like that. And easily, and then none of your data is localized. We're making sure you work with we have a process when we onboard you to make sure that all of your data is not local, whether it's in your Dropbox, in your OneDrive, whether it's offline in the cloud somewhere, so that if a piece of hardware breaks, then you can just go get a new piece of hardware, and then you're up and running relatively quickly. And so that's part of what we do for you, versus you come to me with a broken laptop and say, please get my data back. Oh. Now I've got to start the process of data recovery, which that costs money. So that 300 starts looking cheap, even for the crappy, well, I won't even say crappy, even for a product like Norton's, endpoint protection, where you have nobody on the other end that, you don't know if it got updated today, or even if it did it update with whatever the virus that came out 5 hours ago? The guys in the background, the hackers have created a virus and they just pushed it out. Is Norton's going to have that update? No. But what else can Norton's do for you, when you're trying to protect yourself and you're down? What can they do? Nothing. Once you're down, you're down. You got hit, you're down.
And plus, if your data goes away, a lot of people we found don't quite even know where it's been stored.
Right. And they don't know what they're missing at the times. People don't know what they're missing until they start looking for it. I had a customer a while ago. He lost data, and 3 days later, he calls me, a week later, he calls me back freaking out. All of my accounting data. Oh my God. Am I counting? And I'm like, let's see if we can find it, and we had to go through multiple types of rebuildings and going through the data recovery on multiple drives, because he wasn't storing it in one location, like on a server or in the cloud. He had them on different, the laptop, the computer where the accountant sat at or his bookkeeper sat at was different. And so we had to go recover her machine. He had multiple outages, and because he had a surge and he didn't have surge protection in his office, and all of his computers went out, and boop. So we had to recover data from each and every one of them. And so that was a headache. And literally that one was probably like an $8,000 type of job to recover data from 4 computers.
And then they're down during that time. And it's like, and who can afford that right now?
Right. And he had no software, like they couldn't even work. They didn't have any software. They didn't have any number. They didn't have anything. They had no contacts. They had nothing until we can recover everything, which took us a few days. They really couldn't do anything for a few days.
So let me ask you this. Everybody thought coronavirus is going to be done by now. Here it is, almost 9 months later. Yep. And people are still remote. I don't know. Does it even seem like people are going to be going back to the offices? And I guess my question is, this isn't going away, and there's still clients that you have seen that are still trying to make that pivot and keep connected to all their remote workers. So our 360 Protect Data Now helps with all of that, right?
Yeah, it does. Well, back to the first part of your question, is, are we going to go back? However we go back, it's never going to be the same. We're never going back. We're never going back to the way it was, put it that way.
Okay.
There will always be some type of separation, and it's never going to be 100% the way it was before. Even if any of these viral medicines, we're just never going to go back. The economy has changed. A lot of things have changed. So that's the one thing. The part about in our industry, it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
Right.
All these workers have been working from home. There are a handful of workers that want to go back to the office. They don't want to be home with the kids and the dogs, and they don't want to be. They enjoy going out, and that's not a knock to them. I know some people want to be home with their kids, and some people like, okay, I've had enough. Can they go back to school? And some people don't want to work at home, but the majority of the people that are working home, a large chunk of them are not going to want to go back into the office. And so it's changed forever. So people will start looking for jobs that offer a remote. There are going to be more people demanding it of their job. And some people are noticing, hey, I've got more productivity out of my people when they're home and stuff like that. So in that case, yes, we can offer and help and make sure they stay protected so that they can keep doing what they're doing so that they don't have to worry about anything else. We can do that. The thing is that they have to make a decision, even if they're coming back in. What's the process on how are you going to go with coming back in and data? If you had loaners or if people use their own laptops and now you have your corporate information or your business information on personal laptops. Okay, how are you going to start recovering all this data and bringing it in? How are you going to start bringing these people in and what type of phases are you going to start allowing people to come back in? So these are things people have to start thinking about. And are you ready for people to come back the other way? Because now you have machines that some places have been off for 5 months.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes 3 months now. All that patching, updates, all those things have to be done. So you don't want to wait till the day that they walk in the door to do all that.
And we've also, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
I think we've also found that there still are people who haven't made all of the changes that they need to make. They're still kind of cobbling stuff together and hoping that they don't get, ransomware and everything with their employees working from home because they keep thinking this is going to be over and we're going back.
Right. Yeah. There are some people, and it's a large amount of people out there that are basically, we're just going to hold the line until this is over and then we're going to go back in. And they just put it together with spit and bale wire. They, allowing people to use their own laptops, provide them some, external, applications that they can use and all this. And they say, okay, we'll just do that for a little while until we can get back into the office.
And I know you've talked to a couple people who are kind of, they kind of come to us and are a little bit embarrassed. It's like, we realize this has been going on for 9 months. What can we do now that we've been operating kind of without that safety net? And what's been great is it's like you are so non-judgmental because this is your job to help them be protected. And, their job is to run their business. Right. So I really like that you've been going, you know what? It doesn't matter if you started it back in March or if we're working with you now, let's get you protected.
Right. It's once you just got to get it done, just got to start. Yep. And that's one of the problems. I mean, one of the solutions is just to start. People are like, oh, it's been so long. Look, it's better to start today than it is tomorrow. So right. The sooner we can get you started, the better. The other thing is that there are a lot of people that, like we said, that they waited it out and now they want to, they're hoping that just the thing is you're rolling the dice. Yes. If you're okay with it, I can't change that. I can't change people's mind that want to roll the dice. They're gambling with their livelihood. They're gambling with their business. They're gambling with a lot. If you're comfortable with that, if you're okay with that level of risk, I can't argue with you. We're risk assessors. We go out and tell you the risk. It's up to you to decide if you want to live with it or not. And are you willing to live with the consequences of it, of these decisions? So if that's what they want, I can't argue with them. I'm just going to help the people that want my help. I'm not going to try to change the minds of those who don't want it.
And it's like, nobody knows when that hacker is going to come and who's going to get ransomware. I mean, it can happen.
The numbers are up and they're going up.
It doesn't matter if you are a huge company or a small mom and pop.
And the numbers are not changing. They're going up.
Right.
So
we were saying the other day.
And they're targeting more industry specifically. They're going after IT companies. They're going after support for IT companies because they want to get to the bigger corporations. And guess what? If you're a small company and they go after an IT company and they happen to grab you because they're going after a bigger corporation, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to just destroy you too. Right. They don't really care how big you are or how small you are. And a lot of small companies think, nobody cares about us. That's not true. They're focusing on the small companies just as much as they're focusing on the big companies. And if sometimes even more the smaller companies, because they know you don't have the resources and the staffing.
Yeah, and that you don't have that infrastructure to keep
Right.
everything safe.
Right. And so, with what we're doing with our NOC services and our SOC services, which is our security operating center, and our network operating center, is we're working and making sure that these things are monitored through 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. So there's not a day, no matter what holiday, there's not a day or a moment that you're not being watched, in a sense somebody isn't looking at your machine. And if there's any anomaly or any issues, we're on it. And so that's the difference with a lot of other services, that they're not on it all the time. They're alerting, and alerts can be, the thing about alerts are that you can get 1,000 alerts. You may not see them for an hour or two. You may not see them for a while. You may not notice them. And so alerting is great as long as there's someone there to respond to the alerts. We have alerting, and we have live technicians on staff waiting to respond to these things. So when it's something minor, they deal with it in a minor way. It's something that, okay, let's schedule that for the next patch. Let's make a notation on that so that we know, keep an eye on it. Or when we do this during the maintenance schedule, we'll add that to the list of things we need to do. Those are the type of things you want from these live technicians to be able to put together and to the long-term and short-term comprehensive planning of maintenance and all these other things that need to be done for you. And so that's what we're offering right now.
And let me ask you this. I don't know if this is correct or not, but if I'm sitting home working on my, in my business, and I get an alert, is that alert pretty much letting me know that something bad has already happened? Because it's not saying, hey, we think something's going to happen.
Depends on where the alert comes from. It depends on what the alert comes from.
Okay.
If the alert comes from your antivirus that says, hey, we just found something on your machine, it's like telling you somebody broke in yesterday. Okay. And
that's kind of what I was wondering.
Your back door is open and you're getting a beep, so that's what they're alerting to. Depends on where the alert comes from, and depending on what it is. You may get an alert that you're having hard drive problems. Smart error. Smart error means that there's an issue with your hard drive and it's going to fail soon. So you may get an alert that way. Sometimes the alerts are happening in the background that you don't even see them unless you go and you actively look in those places to find those alerts. So that's the difference. There are certain alerts that are happening in your machine that you don't even know, go look for them. You have to proactively go look. And most people don't know how to do that. They only know when something's going wrong, they start looking around and then they see the evidence. And like with the Nortons or any of these other firewalls and issues that happen, when something goes on, a malware, you get alerted, hey, we found something, But what happens if that thing was created last week? Those products don't have an update to look for your new virus. That's why when anomalies start going on, things start going on in your machine that normally don't happen, the agents in the software we're using will automatically alert, someone in the NOC is saying, and it'll start in an automated fashion, shutting you down. In certain ways, it'll shut out the security, it'll lock your machine up, and then alert the technician, and they'll start getting involved. So that's the difference in the level of service that we're talking about, that we're not just looking for a specific heuristics or a pattern for a virus. We're looking at what they do. What are the things that they do? And those are the things we monitor. And when we see multiple types of things happening at the same time that trigger those alerts, then we say, hey, that's most likely a virus or some type of malware doing something.
Oh, okay.
And then a human will jump in and say, hey, what's going on? Shut it down. You rather just lock this one person down and give them a call and say, hey, Joan, we've shut your machine down because of this. Now she says, hey, I installed the software. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, let's figure it out. We can find out. Okay, yes, it was the software you installed. Gave us a bunch of bad information. Thank you. Or she has no idea, and we get on her machine and we figure out that she downloaded a malware by accident, or she went somewhere and it triggered off her some type of virus. And so it's like, okay, glad we caught it, because the antivirus didn't catch it, because the antivirus only looks for what it knows about. It doesn't look for patterns of actions, which is what we're
Oh,
looking for,
okay.
which is what this part of this program is doing. So, like I said, we can't feed them anymore. I think we've given enough. I think if
Well,
they want to hear more, I think come to our seminar, our webinar, and we'll explain more. And I think that will be, we'll go in through what we're doing, our approach. We're going to explain everything, how we on board. We're going to do everything. And you're going to get a ton of reports from us, and you're going to get a lot of information from us on a monthly, a quarterly basis on these type of things and how we protect.
and what I really appreciate is the fact that you are a partner with the people that we work with.
Right. We always try. I think that was one of the other questions you had. People keep saying,
Yeah.
what if I have an IT? What if I, oh, I just got somebody new. Look, we're not here to take over your people. We're here to supplement your people or to work as a partnership. So if you have an IT person, great. Are they going to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days? No, they're not. Are they going to do what we just talked about? No, they're not going to be able to. They don't know how. And even if you wind up with a high level IT person, they can't do everything you need. They can't know everything you need to know.
Right.
And so we have the expertise, and we have the grouping of people in this and within the services and the vendors that we work with, that we can bring more to bear for you than you can do on your own. And this isn't something that's going to be, oh, we're going to charge you an extra $1,000, a week for that type of stuff. No, this thing is very reasonable. And with the value we bring, it becomes, something to really invest in your company, and so that you can do better with the resources you have. And so, and like I explained to my wife recently, we were talking about something, is the more efficient you become, the better you can bring the services you do, whether it's internally, if you're an internal department, you're doing, human resources,
Mhm.
or you're doing benefits, whatever. If you can bring that service cheaper to deliver, you can deliver that service cheaper internally or externally,
Right.
then you make more money, more profit.
And that's really what it's all about in
Right.
business. I mean,
And that's all we're here to do, is help you
yeah.
be efficient, cut your cost. And if you cut your costs, then you can compete with your guy next to you, that your competitor, because you've lowered your cost, so you can bring the same level of service, if not better, and you can make more money at it because they're not being more efficient.
And like you said before, they're investing in their uptime. They're not
Right.
scrambling
Right.
when something happens and they're paying all that money during a downtime, because
Exactly.
not when you want to be finding someone.
Yep. So I think that should be good. I think that was great behind the scenes. And thank you from
Well, the
Robbi and I.
magic happens.
We'll see you guys soon on the webinar. Bye.
Bye, everybody.